Straight into racing then. Here we go. This is nighttime rally at its very, very best. The Midas 200 Tzaneen Rally account open with the first car heading out there into the terrain. And as we know, it has been super dry, which means it's just dust bowl racing. Kobus Groenewold will have had the best ever chance of going out and sneaking an early win. Because remember, even though they ran dust gaps, there would be a lot of dust hanging out into the air. Not a super technical track to start things off, very much wide double lane racing, but as we know, going out and racing at nighttime is a totally different skill set altogether. Drivers and co-drivers alike would be very, very nervous heading out into the first stage, but remember, 3 stages of night stage racing means that stage 1 is about dusting things off, stage 2 is about getting better, and stage 3 is dropping the hammer. In the blocks there now is the Russians of Suburko and Skorobochi heading on out there to see what they can do. Cold conditions, but you wouldn't think it with these tough guys out there in Tzaneen in their shirt sleeves. But it is fresh, 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 and the dust is like brown talcum powder on stage number 1. That particular Subaru, by the way, that used to go circuit racing, now it has gone back into its native tongue, as we say. It's gone back full-time rally. And check out the shots, the crowds coming out in their droves to see what was on display for the Midas 200 Tzaneen Rally. Good to see the organizers leaving a comfortable dust margin, a little bit of breeze keeping the dust away. But remember, with 28 cars heading out there into the fields, it's always going to be a little bit wild as you head outside of the top 10 in the rankings. Crowds are always going to be hanging out at the hard braking points because they want to see that. They want to see the wagon tail, and they want to see the display of art that is rally driving. The old school escorts heading on out there as well, with lights ablaze into stage number 1. As we got further down the starting order, some of the crews will have got some of the information back from the crews that started a little bit earlier on, giving them a little bit of a highlight and a heads up as to what they can expect. The organizers did a great job though with stage number 1, making it fairly simple, easy to read, easy to navigate, and relatively easy to see as long as you had those big halogens boosted to the max. The dust just kicking up the whole way down the entire order as the rest of the field headed into stage number 1, another one of the Subaru Imprezas heading out to get their first taste of the dust in Tzaneen. Throughout the show, we'll be bringing you highlights of each of the stages, as well as wrapping things up a little bit later on into the forest in the daylight on day number 2. But this was all about day number 1, and spare a thought for the guys out there in the Can-Ams and the Mavericks, because they were going to be taking a face full, a mouthful, and an eye full of dust with no windscreens at all. Just clear air and a screaming engine for company. Most of the drivers clean runs, but unfortunately for Eddie Simpson, a little bit too wild into that first big turn, and some major problems causing him to step out of the car early on in the event. Marshall's just making a note of the downed car, meaning that everyone else was going to be tippy toes through that turn, losing a little bit of extra time. so tough to marshal an event like this in the nighttime, but the marshals were doing a sterling job as the cars started broadsiding in. The 350Z, no problem so far in the dust.
Wat het oupa gedoen?
Yeah, named and shamed by the kids on the sideline. Cool to see so many families out there joining us as part of the show. And then afterwards, straight back in to get themselves ready for the next racing stage. So into the holding zone, and we caught up with a couple of reactions between the heats.
Alright, it was a very tough first stage. We were catching a lot of dust from the cars in front of us. Difficult to see the road, so we did lose a little bit of time. The car was performing well, so I'm happy with the car. So we'll just keep going, take it easy and stay on the road and try and make up time tomorrow.
Stage 1 went well. We had a bit of a spotlight issue 2 kilometers into the stage, but yeah, managed to drive out on the normal lights. And a bit further in the stage we found a spectator trying to dive on the same piece of road that we were, but yeah, we managed to win the stage.
Stage 1 was really bad with the dust, but we seemed to get to the end.
Stage 1 we actually got like in quite a lot of dust, and but we've got a flat wheel as well, so yeah, but the dust is still a problem.
The vision at night, it's not bad, but the dust from the previous cars is actually hanging in the air, so it's slightly restricting the sight. Yeah, the dust in stage 1 was quite bad.
Let's jump on board for a second here as we open up stage number 2 with the Subaru Impreza of Rinus Plomp and Corne van Tonder. This is a driver's and navigator's point of view. You think those lights are good enough? They are, but when you're going around about 120 k's an hour down a dirt road, doesn't matter how strong those lights are, the corners and the trees come around super quick. Great shots here to tell you just how gnarly it is and the conditions that the drivers are up against. Peter de Klerk was one of the race favourites heading into the event, and he was trying his utmost to try and get some advantage on stages 1 and 2. The next day would be much closer racing. If you can get good and get a strong result at nighttime at the beginning of the rally, it's very, very hard to get caught when the sun comes up on day number 2. Managed to grab a quick chat with Atty and Charlene Flismus before they headed out on stage 2.
We're doing good. We're enjoying it. We're loving it, and yeah, it's a nice rally.
After the Flismus pairing, we went straight down to catch up with the Tennyson sisters, the ever-happy faces behind the wheel.
Yeah, so far it has been good. We're enjoying ourselves. Now it's for the last stage, and then it's holding arrow, and then on to tomorrow.
That is what it is all about, having fun. That is one of the most stock rally cars you will see out there. Pretty sure I've had a higher car that I've been able to enter rallies in. There's probably more spec than that. And the 350Z, still hanging in there. Tons of wheel spin. That's a lot of power to throw down the road onto just those 2 wheels. The marshals and the medics kept nice and busy. Medics less so. but the marshals and the timekeepers had their work cut out. And as the temperatures dropped, the dust started to hang real bad.
We were a bit nervous, but everything went well. It took out some cars, but I hope they can repair it and come back to the next stage. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm actually now getting into the thing and getting excited. Thank you.
And that's always how it goes. And this is how it looked at the end of day number 1. The night racing started to get the guys going. Groenewald at the top of the pile with De Pinaar and Van der Westhuizen. 1 minute 54 off the wheel. Roll on day number 2 as we go sunshine racing in Tzaneen. Join us after the break for more action.